Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
Taylor Swift is a link builder. There were rumors that she would get engaged. Our client said, let's give them a free wedding venue. And then we got them 50 links. That's digital PR.
Managing multiple clients or large websites? Automate your SEO with Ali AI. Start your free trial now.
Hello guys. I'm gonna start off by having a question. How many of you have a website with more than 2,000 assets, not pages? Okay, so most of it. So it's gonna be useful for you actually to have 1,000 GSC properties in 3 seconds using Python. So I am officially, my name is this, and but you can call me Sajjad. And this is the smartest Sajjad, blonde Sajjad, to be honest. And this is something, the project that I've started when I actually dyed my hair. I wanted to be with this hair in Brighton, but I couldn't make it. So this is normal one, not that much smart. And this is, how many of you are coming from Germany? Okay, so then hello. Then you know this is October 1st last year, Wiesn, like the beer festival. The reason I added this in my slide is I have 3 tests in my presentation. Whoever answers correctly to all of them, I'm gonna buy a beer, mass beer, or a coffee. So it's your choice. So we're gonna talking about why do we actually need to have more properties. So because we have at least one property in GSC, Google Search Console. What is the main reason to have more properties in GSC? And then we're gonna be moving on to what is the best way to create more properties, because there are multiple ways and you can do it also even manually, but not 1,000 URLs. And then we're gonna be talking about Python and Python basics. You don't need to have any knowledge of Python. You just need to copy and paste the code I've prepared. And then we're gonna moving on to the next section. How can it help to pull out more data out of GSC? And then we're going to be talking about the more data you're going to get, the more choice you're going to have. When you have a website with 10 millions of pages, you need actually to have estimation of the launching. So when you are going to launch something, you need to actually have a historical data per page to have estimation what's going to happen. So let's start with what is GSC. So I guess all of you, this is familiar. So Google Search Console. So what is the Google Search Console's real power? So we use it like GSC every day. So the real power is the reliable data, isn't it? So we're using GSC because it's so reliable. We can count on GSC. It's coming from Google, like all of these stuff. Okay, I'm sorry about it. It should have been over reliable. So it's is it really reliable? So it's the question that is actually when you are opening the main property in GSC, you are seeing roughly 35% of the data that Google has been processed for you. So it depends on the website. It could be going up to 50% or something, but roughly average, like in most websites, like around like 50% when you have just one property for very big website. Test number 1. So which of these examples provides the most accurate data for this page? So consider you have the main property on example.com and you have a page, landing page called page, and which one is the accurate has the accurate data? Option A, option B, okay, option C is both A and B are true answers. So the correct answer is B. Thank you. So the reason is Google is showing actually so you can also compare that. You can filter out in the GSC in the main property and also add the property to see actually what is the difference. The actual reason is not just Google doesn't know about it. It's just there are so many, the data sets are very big, and Google is cutting off some of the data to show you at most up to 1,000 rows in each properties. So that's because when you add more properties, you are actually getting more data, and for example, you're gonna get to know this specific page is getting more clicks than you were thinking about it. So Search Console API. So this is something, so I told you in the GSC, you're gonna have up to 1,000 rows. But with Search Console API, you can get more data, I don't know, last crawl days or last index days, or about whatever, in which bucket the page is going on, up to 2,000. So for each property, you can request with Search Console API up to 2,000. And what is the reason we are using Python to do this, adding the 1,000 per? So the main reason is Python is very easy to use, and also there are there are extensive libraries and frameworks, and the community is very great. And if you're gonna ask something, they're gonna answer in second. And it's ideal for automation. So, and consider this kind of situation. You've been asked, your manager asked you to add 100 URL prefixes and verify in GSC. If you didn't know about this, you had to actually go to GSC and click at least 3 or 4 times to add these prefixes. But with Python, you're gonna have in 3 seconds. You just need to install Python and then actually just run it. So the process starts with installing Python. So for installing Python, you just need to go python.org/downloads. And then you need to actually verify in your operating system that Python is installed or not. So for checking this, you just open your terminal and just type in Python 3 2- and version. So the answer, you can see Python 3 is installed. And then you're gonna need the PIP. PIP is the the software you need actually to install libraries into the Python. It's written in Python. And then again, you need to install these libraries because you're going to use these libraries to add those list of URLs that has been given to you. And again, you need to verify because sometimes you install these and so your connectivity is not great and then they're not actually installed. And then finally, you need to, so these processes you need just to be done just one time, and then you're gonna go in the next process I'm gonna present. So you need to have a Google account, Google Cloud account. So you need to create a new project in Google Cloud. So, and then you're gonna go to the API and services and enabling API and services, Search Console API. And you need to actually create the open authentication authorization consent screen. And this is something that you're gonna find. It's very easy. And finally, you need something like this, the JSON file, to save it in your operating system, somewhere that you can access to that, because this is something like credentials to actually sending the API to the Google Search Console. And test number 2. So what is the daily limit of GSC API requests? Option A, option B, option C, and there isn't any limit. Okay, so yeah, right answer is C. So let's get back to this request. So you've been asked to add 100 URLs. So this is the step that I've prepared. This is the Python code you need to have to add these kind of like the lists in your GSC. This is the authentication part. So that's the JSON file you've downloaded from Google Cloud, and you've saved it somewhere. So it goes by my name or something. So it's different for you, and you need just change that part and also the URL prefixes. So you can access these in the end of the presentation. You're gonna have access to the Google Doc I've prepared. And then you just need to call this file. So you've prepared this file as, add underlying properties.py. And then you need to call this file with Python. For calling this file, you just need to have the location of that file is inside, and also calling the Python to actually run the file. And then you're gonna have something like this, and your properties are being added in your GSC. And then if you're just open in another new tab, you're gonna see new properties has been listed in your GSC account. You can also use this for crawl requests. So sometime in bigger websites, you've just published the blog post or you've just published the PDP pages or something, and Google is not picking up those pages, and you need to ping Google. It's something you can see in the GSC, in the top part of the GSC, you just add the URL and ask Google to crawl request. So you can also use this Python code. You just need to change the JSON file and the URLs to be indexed. So you're just asking Google just to index these this list of the URLs that they have. So why does it matter to have more? So we've talked about it. If you have more GSC properties, it's not just about clicks and impressions or CTRs. It's about having and getting more data, or I talked about it last time, the page crawled and Google de-indexed the page, and you have the historical data of every day that page, article page or whatever, it's happening to that specific page. For example, consider this situation. You have your website is example.com, and you have this page subfolder product, and under products you have 2,000 pages, under blog you have 2,000, and under PCP you have 2,000 pages. So you have 6,000 pages. If you had just only one GSC property and wanted to crawl and get the data, you wouldn't get 4,000. You would just get 2,000 data for 2,000 of the URLs. The same also, it goes to the Screaming Frog. When you are crawling with Screaming Frog, there's a section that you can connect to Google API, and you can use the multiple properties. So this way you can get more out of the Screaming Frog also, or any other inspection tools that you're using. Final test is how many GSC properties per account. So we've talked about it. You can add properties in the GSC account, but how many properties you can add in each Google Search Console dashboard. So the first option is A. Who's going with A? So option B. I'm gonna buy you a beer, I guess. So option C. And D. So yeah, option B is right. So for each account you have in the Google Search Console, what I mean by each account, you have an email that has been authorized for using GSC. For that specific email, the up limit is 1,000. So we've talked about it. So with this kind of with having this, you can access most of the data out of the GSC. And the data showed me, so you can get up to 80% of the data is coming from Google in your website. So if you compare it, 35% and 80%, it's actually worth trying to have this. And also up limit is 1,000. And if you multiply 2,000 and 1,000, so daily you have actually allocated budget of 2 million requests to Google site. And yes, and you have the history of the issues in the page level whenever. So for example, we've launched the PDPs and it was around 10 million of pages. So you need actually to get those pages indexed, or actually to have the data of what Google is doing. So we've heard about the log file analysis. You can also connect the log file and understand which pages Google bot or Bing bot or whatever is going to, and you can also pull out the data from the GSC because you have more allocated budget to get those data out. And you can get access to this step-by-step guide. You can get access to the presentation in speakerdeck.com/Sajjad. Thank you.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.